Well, while I'm waiting on my buddy, I thought I'd do a quick video here on the bike. Here, let me get my patented license plate blocker technology. So this is the R1s in its current state. I guarantee 18,000 people are going to come up here and ask me if I'm okay, because sitting here filming my bike means I'm not okay for some reason. But yeah, this is the bike. I haven't done anything to the body on it, other than put what's called a clear bra over certain parts of it to protect it. But the bodywork is all stock. I took off the lower body panels that shield the exhaust. I guess that's called the exhaust shield. And as you can see, my full titanium system is on full display, which I like. It's turning crazy colors. Reminds me of that book, fucking Rainbow Fish, I think it was called, where they gave away all the scales, and the book was really colorful. I just remember that from my childhood. It looks like that. So, I don't know, I just think that's so cool. I've got the TST Industries Fender Eliminator with integrated turn signals. I'll show you what that looks like. It's really cool. It shuts off one side when the blinker goes on. I think that's a neat feature. Really not something you see on aftermarket stuff that often. It seems like it'd be factory. Woodcraft frame sliders. They're not real pretty, but they work well. Good reviews. I put in the factory quick shifter. This bike didn't come with it standard, but it was basically plug and play. Works awesome. Undermount license plate. So, you know, if you live in a communist state like California, you're probably not going to have a good time with something like this. I've never been stopped with it here in Missouri, but we are a free state here. You know, one thing I'm thinking of doing is doing they're not block offs, they're called Greg's Custom turn signals. So you'll still have the turn signals up here. On this bike, they're normally integrated into the mirror, which is really cool. But it does make eliminating your mirrors tricky, because you know, not having mirrors is one thing, not having mirrors and turn signals, I feel like it's just asking for trouble. But it'll basically relocate the turn signals to here, and then I'll run bar-in mirrors. Some people think that's stupid. I think it improves the look of the bike a whole lot. Not to mention, those things are heavy. I've had them off. You know, it shaves down some weight. It makes it more aerodynamic by a long shot. Just going through the mods, you can't actually see. I got rid of the AIS system. If you don't know what that is, it used to inject air into the exhaust. It supposedly made it more environmentally friendly. That is an issue with aftermarket exhausts because, sorry, I think I'm hearing my friend. The O2 sensor will read incorrectly when you go to retune your ECU. It'll think the bike is running what's called really lean, which means you have too much air and not enough gas coming out, and basically what that means is the engine isn't getting enough fuel, which is dangerous. Now, that leads into my next thing I've done. It's the FT ECU Active Tune. It's a lot better than the Power Commander, I forgot what it was called, Auto Tuner or something like that. But that will read the air-fuel ratio while I'm riding and actually adjust the ECU accordingly. So it should have perfect fueling all the time. It really smoothed out the low end. I didn't notice a big difference on the high end. But you know, as you can imagine, it's important not to have extra air going into the exhaust, or else your bike will run obscenely rich. Oh, here's a small thing. I put on these little breakaway mirrors, or breakaway levers. I forgot what they were called. They were just on eBay. They were cheap, but I think they look fantastic, and they work good. They're shorter. I really like the look of them. So, adjustable too, which is pretty cool. What else did I do? Got rid of the intake flapper. That's another sort of eco/sound thing. What that does is it shuts off a portion of the intake at slow speeds. And here, let me just see. You're not going to be able to really see in there. And it quiets down the bike a little bit, makes it use a little less gas maybe, but it reduces power and rideability. I simply just took that whole system out, saved it a little bit of weight, and made it run better at lower speeds. You know, 25% throttle and stuff like that. Obviously with the exhaust system coming out, the exhaust valve came out. I don't think I need to explain what an exhaust valve is to you guys. That whole system, I mean, it had a motor and everything. That was a good amount of weight. Oh, I did a lightweight battery. That was a really cool mod. I wish I could show it to you, but I don't have a tool set on me to take the seat off. But basically, we replaced the stock lead acid battery, which weighed about 6 or 7 pounds, with a battery that weighed only a little bit over a pound. And it cranks a little bit faster. The one gripe with it though is you cannot let your bike sit there with the lights on, you know, to show people or whatever, or just because you don't feel like turning it off for a few minutes. Your battery will go dead. I also got a charger that I plug in every single time I get back. There's a socket for it. It works like a battery tender basically, just to make sure. I did have the battery go dead, and you have to have a special charger like the one I have to rehabilitate it. So if you do get one of those batteries, mine was an anti-gravity, just make sure to shut off your lights when you're not using the bike, and I think you'll be okay. Trying to think what else I did to it. That's just about it. Oh, it's got a high flow, you know, K&N air filter. That seemed to pick it up a little bit. You know, the next thing I want to do is the 520 chain mod. Why'd I go to this side? Whoops, sorry. Basically what that does, I put a smaller chain on there. I'm going to put a aluminum rear sprocket on it, which is lighter, smaller chain's lighter. Chromoly front sprocket, also lighter and stronger actually. Oh, I was going to do some lightweight axles or something like that, or I forgot what it was, but it just gets rid of rotating mass. Just off of reading articles and stuff from pretty reputable sources, it's worth about 3 horsepower on a leader bike like this, so that's pretty good. 3 horsepower, it looks a lot better. You know, can't hurt. And I think I was going something like 2 down in the rear and 1 down in the front, and it basically equaled out to the stock gearing, but it has less chain wrap, which means less resistance, which means more horsepower as well. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I can't really think of much else I've done. I'm probably missing something, but I love the bike, man. That's why I'm pouring so much money and time into it. It's just a beautiful machine. From taking it apart and putting it back together so many times, I can tell you that it's very well built, and they built it with the idea that it would be getting worked on and taken apart like a race bike. You know, they took that into consideration. I hate to say it, but my last bike was not like that at all. So it's very easy to work on. You can get all the body off of this bike in about 20 to 30 minutes if you know what you're doing. And the tank. I mean, even the tank. I mean, it's got a quick disconnect for the fuel line. I mean, that's how cool it is. So, oh, and if I didn't mention, that's the Aero Evo 2 racing system, I believe. Full titanium. That system was beautiful. It went on great the first try. Very nice. So I hope I can get that gunk off the pipe back there. That would be a bummer if I couldn't. But yeah, highly recommend that system. It wasn't cheap, but highly recommend it. So anyway, appreciate you guys watching the video. Hope you can give me a subscribe. Really appreciate that too, and like the video. And I'll try to keep pumping out more great content. Another thing I wanted to mention, a lot of people are hesitant about buying the R1s. The differences are really so small that I don't think you should worry about it unless you are a professional track racer. And even then, I mean, certain motorcycle magazines, I forgot which ones, tested this against the R1M actually, which is supposed to be, you know, like the flagship bike. And at certain tracks, this bike ran faster. So, you know, it's so small, such a small difference. And the horsepower difference was like 3 horsepower or something like that. And that was before the ECU was flashed. So I don't even know if there is a difference now. But I highly recommend this bike. If you're hell-bent on the normal R1, you got some change in your pocket, or the R1M, go for that. But I don't think you're going to lose anything with the R1s. But yeah, like I said, thanks guys. Hope you can give me a subscribe and a like. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Get out there, enjoy the ride, and enjoy it before winter gets here. Bye bye guys.